Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see here on our channel, our website, or social media. Reach out to me directly, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. Today, we're discussing one of my favorite new watches of 2019. This is the Tudor Black Bay P01, a production realization of a 1967 prototype built for the U.S. Navy at a time when it was common for servicemen on both sides of the Atlantic to wear Tudor submariners. This timepiece might be the most audacious Black Bay since the first model in 2012, and I'm going to give you a top-to-bottom rundown. 42 millimeters, it is bigger than the historical prototype. The watch is 14.2 millimeters thick and from lug to lug a beefy 55.7 millimeters, albeit with conventional 20 millimeter lug spacing if you do want to go aftermarket strap. Throw it on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, and I think folks get the wrong idea about this watch. It is broad across the wrist, so consider it more like a 44 than a 42 because it doesn't wear anything like a conventional Tudor case. The lug profile is massive, broad, and more or less flat from side to side, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend this watch for a wrist smaller than 15 centimeters circumference. Now let's take a look at the hardware and the software, because rarely has a Tudor strap and buckle combination been so idiosyncratic. This is a very interesting watch, and easily the most fascinating piece in Tudor's current collection, save maybe the Advisor. As you can see, there is a hinge lug system, so there's actually two pivots. This allows the watch to wear fairly well in spite of its huge lug-to-lug dimension. Now the strap itself is a hybrid of rubber and leather, calfskin on the top, and then there's a contrasting stitch with a little bit of fauxtina fade, and you can see the same feature of the dial. There is a thick cut to the rubber used, as there is an awful lot of material in here to prevent the strap from ever tearing. Now on the underside, you can see there's a little stylized P01 themed texture to better aggress against the wrist and hold the watch in place. There's the Tudor Shield lock for the deployant clasp, and then you can see internally a feature that surprised me when I first saw this on the Pelagos. Ceramic spring-loaded pin snaps to maintain the tolerances of the steel clasp over time, and it is a stainless steel watch. Very crisp when closing, very crisp when opening, quite secure. Now there is a fascinating mechanism whereby you can sort of drop a release at the 12 o'clock station, and then you can rotate the bezel in both directions. Bidirectional bezels generally don't have a great detent feel. It's just inherent in bidirectional snaps. But here's the thing, this one feels great. Have a listen. It sounds and feels chunkier than any other bidirectional bezel that I know of. This is truly elite feel for this type of bezel. You'll also note that there is nothing generic about this watch. I hate the fact that the Black Bay is endlessly iterated. Well, this has nothing in common, save the movement, with any other Black Bay. As you can see, the lug profiles are vintage-inspired, squared off. There's a sharp separation from the lug hood to the lug flank, all satin finish. This is in good taste. Also, it's historically true. There's a sort of imaginary circular graining across the tops of the lugs, and then the case band is longitudinal. There's an engine turning of sorts at the edge of the bezel. Now, I don't know if this is actually machined or just stamped in, but you can see it is a very deep and exotic knurling that makes the bezel a pleasure to grip. Note when it's locked, you cannot turn the bezel in either direction. There is a crown guard off-center at 4 o'clock. The better not to dig the wrist, making this system ambidextrous. You'll also appreciate that Tudor really went to the mat with details here, as that same soft, almost eggshell off-white tone is not just used in the strap stitch and the hands, but also in the date disc itself, which is outstanding attention to detail. Now, of course, the watch 200 meters water resistant. It is a diver. It does have those snowflake style hands, and that's a reference to Tudor submariners of the late 60s through mid-70s. The watch, of course, fairly conventional inside, and that's probably the only place where this model is conventional. It uses an MT 5612, which is exactly what you get in the Pelagos. Automatic winding, 70-hour power reserve, 4 Hz beat rate, quick set date, stop second, 5 position adjusted, COSC chronometer, shock resistant thanks to a full balance bridge and a free sprung index, and anti-magnetic thanks to a silicone hairspring, a feature still rare in Rolex watches. I have to say, given all the apparatus attached to this watch and the idiosyncratic case and lugs, it's surprisingly charismatic. This is a watch that feels more like a committed play to the historical purist than it does to the mass market at which Tudor panders with endless conventional Black Bay iterations. This is not a watch for everyone, but if you have that certain quirk factor in your personality, respect for history, and you resolutely refuse to buy what everyone else has, step up. Your Black Bay has arrived. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details. And I'm here by night with the Black Bay P01. It's probably the only time it looks like a normal Black Bay.